Hi guys! So I just wanted to make a quick video to show you all the different ways that you can do colouring in Teletherapy. Of course it's digital, but it's just as fun. So I'm going to turn my camera around and let's get into it. Okay, so first of all, online websites like this one here. This one's called online-colouring.com, and they have a bunch of different images your students can colour in, a bunch of different colours to choose from, and it's really straightforward. You kind of just pick up the colour, drop it, and it'll fill. I've just chosen this Easter one for this example because of the time of year, and over here there is an image if your students want to go off that to follow, which can be a great barrier game type opportunity, especially if you don't give them mouse controls and they have to tell you how to make it look like that. However, do remember if you're screen sharing on a small screen, it may be hard for them to see that, so you may try saving that image, making it bigger, something like that. Anyway, there's lots of websites like this online, and there's a print button, and I'll show you later a little tip on what you can do with that, even though we're not printing because it's digital. Okay, so then if your students just want a free draw, I've already started for a demo just looking at this. This is pixel art. My students love this because they're really into Minecraft and stuff, so they like to create like their own little like scenes and stuff. I'll show you in a minute some of the creations some of my students have done. So one of my students will literally do an entire hour session with my companion that I'll show you soon, where he just spins for a color and I time him for 10 seconds, and then he gets to color for 10 seconds, and then it's the next one, and then the next one, and then the next word, and it'll last like an hour because he's real into this. Not all students are like that, but if you find the game that works for them, you often don't need to find anything else. And then another thing you can do is go online and look up coloring printables and image search it in Google. And then I've just downloaded this one here, this PJ Masks picture, and then in the Microsoft store there's Paint 3D, and it's free. So if you're on a Mac, this won't apply, but stay tuned because I've got a bunch more stuff that applies to you guys as well. Now I'm going to open 3D Paint on my computer, and it comes up like this, and then I'm just going to go open, browse files, and find that coloring in page. It's a picture that I saved. And then over here at the brushes tab, we've got all these different types. You can color with a crayon or a marker. You can choose your color down here. You can choose the thickness. So, and then you can color in just like this. So this is more like freehand coloring in. If your student's going to get frustrated that they can't do it perfectly, not the right activity for them, but most of my students just love being able to do this. And you could use this as a way to annotate any worksheet that you find that's actually an image file. I'm not sure if you can bring PDFs in. I think they have to be image files, so you might want to screenshot something or print it to an image file if you know how to do that. But in here there's also, you can add shapes, there's stickers, there's text, there's a bunch of different stuff, so they could write their name on it. So 3D Paint is awesome. Now, if you're on a Mac and you can't get Paint, you may have something similar for a Mac, but also if you just open up a PDF, so if you've got a PDF of coloring printables, which is really commonly found as well, open it up in Adobe, hit that comment button, open up your annotations, and then there's pens up here, right? So you can choose, there's a pen, and then there's all these colors here, and then you can choose the thickness, and then we can color in. So it can be just as straightforward as that. So these are the listening stories by Reading Speechy. So if I'm going to use these in Teletherapy, I open them up like this. I read the stories. It's kind of like a following directions task, but language loaded. It's a lot. It's great. It's a lot. It's good a lot of what all the things it can target. And so I print this off for myself and I read it to the student because this is kind of like a barrier game. And then they do the coloring in. But I just left this menu up here to show you in Adobe if you want to be able to see what's all the pages that are included in a big PDF. If this bar's in, you just hit this little arrow here and then hit these papers up here, and then it'll come out. And if you want to see them bigger, you can just move this like that if you want to see things bigger. So it can be really good for navigating through static PDFs. Okay, now we're going to look at a different type of coloring game. So these are my PowerPoint coloring games. This is the Sweet Treats themed, and I've just opened the S one. But if we hit next, we can see all the different ones. We've got 2 for S initial, 2 for S medial, for example, and then 2 for S final. And then what we can do is we'll just do this cupcake. So see the colors down the bottom here? They are all the colors that are over here on this paint palette. So if I choose yellow, I have to say pacifier 10 times, and then I can color with yellow. And if I choose blue, I then have to say princess 10 times, and then I can color with blue because I'm on the S page. So if I go reset, then it resets to white. I can go home and I can also choose open-ended. So if you just want like a virtual coloring book, maybe following directions, like color in the icing pink, then you can just do the open-ended one. Most of my products are, especially with PowerPoint games, they're generally got the phonemes and then an open-ended one for you to be able to use in a more open-ended way. Okay, and so what I like to do with this as well, if I was going to do an activity like, let's have a look back at this online one, another option is with online coloring, what you can do is, or any other type of coloring, like whether it be in paint or anything like that, you can open up my my coloring companion, which is in my open-ended activity companions, and you can choose your speech sound. So I'm going to choose S blends, and then you've got your spinner here, so you can spin. And I've got pink, and then I can say slide 5 times, and then I can color in pink. Choose my color in one space, and then it's time to spin again. So obviously this also has other phonemes in it if you hit the home button, and then also has an open-ended spinner as well, so you could just spin for colors as well. And then this comes with editable worksheets that you would use with the open-ended spinner that you open in Adobe Acrobat Reader during Teletherapy. And the editable worksheets is where you put in what question or target would go with what color. So for example, I've spun a yellow here, so your student would have their own worksheet that you'd open up in Adobe that you've edited earlier, and you've added in, well, if you get a yellow, you've got to answer this where question, for example, and you've typed in the where question. So really great for mixed groups that way, because you can have every kid's worksheet open in Adobe with their different goals in it and their different word lists and questions and whatever you're targeting. And then when the children spin the spinner, whichever color they spin is the question they do on their worksheet, and then they can have their turn coloring in. So that's kind of what my aim is with the coloring in this open-ended game companion for coloring. Now, what I want to show you is how we then deal with a lot of kids. Once they've colored something in, they want to be able to take it home. I get that. That's one of the funnest things about doing coloring in therapy. So what I do is I use something called Book Creator. Now in Book Creator, this is an actual copy of one of my kids' speech therapy books, but I've changed the name to my name for his privacy. And how this book works, this is an ebook creator, and then I can share the link with his mum, and then at the end of every session we add a page and add his creations in from our session, and then it updates the link, so I don't have to send a new link to mum. She can just open the ebook at home and keep looking at it. Also a really great way to share homework, I've just realized. But so this was something he did in pixel art. This is the student that I told you will do pixel art for like the entire session. He's done some really great and then this was a hidden image that we did. So we'd these are all his hidden images, because once he's uncut my hidden image games, you guys have seen those, eh? Once he's done a hidden image of his 100 trials, he gets to put it in here. He likes Lego, so I made him a Lego set. I do have a Lego set, but we call it building bricks. In my store, it's not these exact photos, but I do have a hidden photos for building bricks. And then this is from ABC, where he had built a tree house. So we just put all of his creations in here. All I do is just, if the website allows, so like back here, see how you can print. If it lets you print to a PNG, which if you have a PNG printer on your computer, you could do, or an image file, I mean. Or I just use my snipping tool, and I would just go new and then just grab the picture and then paste it. It's on my clipboard now, so I can just paste it into the book at any point, or save it to my computer or something like that. So that's a way to share your creations with in a space where kids still feel like they're taking home their art. Okay, so what I want to do is I just want to point out to you guys where to find the coloring PowerPoint games in my store if you are interested in grabbing them. There's that custom category. Did you see me click it? It's called coloring PowerPoint games, and from the front page of my store you can just click that custom category, and I have a bunch of themes: animal, transport, sweet treats, food. I've also got routines showing a girl doing routines showing a boy doing routines, a free one if you want to test to see if it'll work on your platform. It's animals in love, and it says it's Valentine's Day themed, but it will work now too. It's just call it the friendship theme or whatever. And then we've got the cat unicorn themed one as well, which I think is just so cute. So I might bring out some other themes for this as well, but right now that's the themes I've got. So I hope that was helpful, guys. Do reach out if you have any questions.